Welcome to Through the Lens of Astrology. I'm your host, Heather Arielle, and we are in Pisces season. And we actually have a new moon in Pisces today, the day that I'm recording, March 1st. And then we're going to air this in 2 days on March 3rd on Beacon of Light Radio. Now, if you have missed the last couple of videos or radio shows, you can catch up with all things through the lens of astrology by checking in with my social media. You can find me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, Heather Arielle's House of Astrology. Now, you know how I love a new moon. We get one each month, and I do a unique new moon oracle card spread to sort of, to bring in some inspirational messages for the group, so we can have a unified intention. So I'm going to be doing that today. But I'm also going to be, before we get to the oracle card spread, this has been a really intense week. The whole Ukraine-Russia situation. And so, I wanted to talk about the idea of freedom and look at it through the lens of astrology. What are the zodiac signs that represent freedom? And then we get into freedom of speech. There have been a lot of banning of books here in the US. And so I really wanted to sort of address that through the lens of astrology to say, okay, well, how can we connect with that? And especially if you have this energy in your chart, what does that really mean? Because I talk a lot about view your chart as a beautiful gift you give yourself. I say that. And sometimes when I'm talking to people or clients, I feel that they don't really understand what I mean. So I'm going to try to get really specific with, well, how can you connect to your chart in a personal way, but also in a way that activates you to participate, to make the world a better place, right? So you are empowered because your chart should empower you. All right. Now, I talk about there are 12 zodiac signs, and there is evolution that one sign leads to the next, leads to the next. Now, I may not have a chance to go into as much depth about that cycle this show because we got the new moon, but I'm going to touch on it. All right. And then may go into more depth next week. So let's just start by, okay, freedom of speech and freedom. All right, let's just start with the freedom. I've got here Sagittarius and Aquarius energy. All right. These are really the signs that we're like, okay, hello, freedom. Now, Sag is, freedom of action because it is fire. So it's freedom to do what you want. And the US chart, which I have said, has a Sagittarius ascendant. That means as a country, we are supposed to be full of citizens allowed freedom to do a lot of things, right? And we are. And we love to elect political officials who resonate to Sagittarius energy. We got a president right now who's Sag rising, just like the US, okay? And this is full of tolerance at the highest manifestation. And remember, we can be, in balance, or we can not be in balance with our energy. So I'm always like, let's shoot for the the highest level of what our energy is all about. And at the highest level, Sag is, boy, we're all so different. It's about being foreign, and dealing and having foreign experiences and having tolerance and finding ways to blend, or at least finding ways to coexist. So, we think of manifest destiny and things like that. Okay, so this is one element of the freedom. Then the other sign is Aquarius. If we're just dealing with the zodiac signs, okay, Aquarius energy. Now, Aquarius energy allows us, I talk about, to come face to face with our cultural imprint. All right. And it also then allows for reform. So, these are both really about freedom. Now, because it's an air sign, Aquarius, it's freedom of ideas, freedom to think what you want to think. So, freedom to do what you want to do with Sag and think what you want to think with Aquarius. And, Reagan, he had Aquarius Sag in his chart. Obama has Aquarius. It's like when you look at a lot of the officials, they have this energy because it is so American. And in the US chart, the moon is Aquarius. in the US chart. Okay. So these are very, they're they're essential energy. It's essential astrological energy for the well-being of the US, right? And for the well-being of the world. But this is big time in the chart. Okay. And then, yeah, and you see it. You see it in the energy of the people we elect. Okay. Now, and then there's also, okay, well, I'll talk about that in a second. All right. So, this energy is very important right now because this energy involves freedom. Now, when we say freedom of speech, okay, that involves these these two signs and planet, okay, these three elements. If we're going to bring in the speech component, we go to Mercury, which is the planet of communication, how we receive information, how we process information, okay. And then we say, well, Mercury is connected to two zodiac signs. It is connected to Virgo and it is connected to Gemini energy. And Gemini energy is big time in the US chart. And so, Gemini, you see Gemini at JFK, you see Gemini in a lot of uh, political officials, and Cancer too, is big time in the chart. But and you're going to see that, and that's why, I always said, hey, Trump's chart goes really well with, I mean, it does. And Pence, they're both Geminis. But you constantly see that we are attracted to electing people who really resonate in a big way, that either they have this energy, or the house placement, or their energy makes exact connections with what's going on in that chart. Okay. And Kamala Harris is Gemini rising. All right. So there's, all right. So that's one element. Now, so speech. We want freedom of speech. Then it's going to combine with, what do we do? Well, Virgo is understanding this something by understanding the smallest parts of it. Okay, I talk about the mechanics. It's more like a desire to reach perfection through understanding the tiniest components, breaking it down into all the details. Gemini is about making connections and being able to communicate by putting things together that other people, they don't put together. And Gemini's, oh yeah, like this goes with this and this. And then we're like, oh, and then we have comprehension, right? Because Gemini can process patterns very well. And then when we see a pattern, that's comprehension. We go, oh, do we like this pattern or do we not like this pattern? And so Virgo and Gemini are just wonderful. And they're both mutable, as is Pisces, which we're going to talk a lot about today because we've got the new moon in Pisces. And mutability, that is adaptability. Charles Darwin said it's more important than being intelligent or being, physically strong, is, can you adapt? Yeah, can you bend like a willow? All right. So, so I'm bringing these up to say, okay, all these ideas of freedom, of when we have it and when when we don't have it, and freedom of speech. It's important that if you have these zodiac signs in your chart, then you need to understand that you came in with a very strong gift, that your gift is to then say, okay, make sure that whatever project you're in, whatever relationship you're in, you're going to make sure that your project and your relationship doesn't skip your zodiac sign step, because they all evolve. They all are connected. So the Sag means make sure that people are blending, or at least trying to coexist with extreme differences, right? Make sure that there's tolerance. Aquarius, make sure that people are questioning who they are, their cultural imprint, and they're really choosing who they want to be. And then work to inspire people to be rebel with causes and to reform and to remind how important it is to be free. And then, yeah, and if you have Gemini, we need you to help make the connections and to communicate everything that's going on. We have to use our words, right, with Mercury. And so, Gemini can also connect people to a project. Just say, oh, you know what? We need this person. We need that person. We need, and then Virgo is, these are both able, to speak and to write and to have that communication to spread, right, the ideas. So, the remedy is what Brandeis said, the remedy to free speech is more speech. It's like we need to say, okay, So that's part of how you can, when I say share your gift, make sure that the Gemini step isn't skipped, right? Or that the step of what you're offering isn't skipped. So, all right, we'll do, depending on how much time we have, I may be able to go into more depth with that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about that because of what's going on. And I also saw, I've just happened to see several works of art recently, some movies and TV shows that are really resonating with this idea of freedom. I saw Spencer uh, with it's about Princess Diana, and Kristen Stewart's in it, and it's amazing. And it's really, you see that she was full. I mean, she had Cancer and Sagittarius. She had Sagittarius energy, but it really was, you know, um, the issue of control and freedom. All right. And then it's like, okay, you know what? I'm grouping three that I saw together. All right. Then I also saw I, Tanya, with Sebastian Stan and Margot Robbie. Oh my God. Okay. And that was amazing. And similar about the ice skater Tanya Harding, and similar issues of cultural imprint, expectation of what we expect people to be. And then, it really made me think of, I talked about this a few shows back, a wonderful movie, One Night in Miami by Regina King. And, Malcolm X plays a character in that. And so does Sam Cooke by Leslie Odom Jr. And Malcolm X says, to Sam Cooke, the character, and that your voice is your weapon. Okay. And that idea was echoed when somebody told Princess Diana in Spencer movie, you are your weapon. Okay. Now we want to be, not that I want people to be weapons, but it's the idea that, we all have a talent or a gift. That is our weapon, right? That we are not, that we have to sort of embrace what that is. And I mean, Princess Diana had intense charisma and intense compassion. And so she was able to help people feel more love just by, her talking about something. It made us want to be more human. Okay. And with Tanya Harding, her weapon was her ice skating, and she came from a extremely low socioeconomic class, and she had to suffer tremendous abuse, but she had this weapon of her talent. She was the first woman to land, I think, a triple axel, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe a little like three, but she was the first person to land a major, you know, um, something like a triple axel. I mean, it's extraordinary. And yet, because of our expectation of, we all have a cultural imprint, it's important to know it because often it's judged, right? We have the American cultural imprint, right? For sure. We have the world cultural imprint, yeah. But then we have our family cultural imprint, yeah. And we have, so they're different levels. And so, Tanya Harding came from a very specific socioeconomic cultural imprint that is not respected, right? And then she tried to, she was entering the ice skating world where it was presentation. What do you look like? What is your costume? It needs to be like very fancy and expensive. And so it was, how is she, so she had to then uh, fight that, right? So, but she did it through connecting to, her weapon, which was her talent of her skating. And that we always have to remember that. And then Sam Cooke's voice, I talked about that, how he was able to, he was able to do amazing things through art. I always say that art elevates, and through his song. And then Princess Diana, I mean, her cultural imprint was not fitting in with the idea of what that family expected of her, right? And so there was a lot of, that's why I say we need the Aquarius energy to help us say, okay, who are we? What is our imprint? And then have that, well, how are other people perceiving it? Because we need awareness, right? And I'm not saying you have to do things to blend in, it's the opposite, but it's to know that there can be extreme resistance, and there can be a cost, and you can suffer because of how of that cultural imprint is being perceived. And to the way to then honor it is to also honor, just ask yourself, when I say, your chart is your gift, your chart is your weapon, right? Understand that, understand your gifts, and then you can use those, right, to benefit yourself and to hopefully benefit others and to raise the consciousness of the planet, right? Yeah. But it's a way to look at things. And because I just saw that and that line came in, it echoed that. And then I just saw the morning show, and that has Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. And Reese Witherspoon plays a character, Bradley. I can't think of the last name, but oh my gosh, she's like swearing somebody out at a coal protest, basically saying, yeah, you don't know, you don't understand what you're even talking about. And she loses her temper. And it's like there's a backlash, but there's also it ends up her transparency, her willing to be transparent and saying, well, this is what I believe, and what are you doing? And you don't know what you're doing. That transparency is that character's weapon. Being able to be emotional, not afraid to show your emotion, not afraid to show anger. Anger is her weapon, is her gift. And um, it's making me, with all of these issues of freedom and so much of trying to control right now in a lot of situations, it's important then, like, to say, well, okay, some of those things are, it was really speaking to me. And also, to kind of, yeah, to transition into the Pisces energy. All right. Pisces is the highest levels of consciousness. It represents true transcendence. It is about unification. Pisces is universal love. So we kind of have this moment here to at least, like, let's really entertain these ideas. And I think of John Lennon's Imagine. Now, he was Aquarius, okay? But the idea, imagine a perfect place, imagine a utopia. That's Pisces. That's a Pisces idea, because it's all about the imagination. It's about seeking the ideal. And it's about, if you cut yourself, I bleed. That's why it's really important. I talk about solidarity, and it's a very Piscean idea, but it's, if someone is in pain, you are in pain then, because we are connected. And that is what we need the Pisces energy to remind us. And with this new moon in Pisces, we double down on Pisces right now. And even in the spread, I did a Sun in Pisces spread, and 2 Pisces cards popped out. Boy, are we desperate for Pisces energy right now, because we're not unified. We're in our own little clique, our own little group, right? And you do want to be yourself. And I'm not saying you have to, like, lose your identity. Aquarius says we can be in a lot of different groups, right? Just like the 12 zodiac signs. They're very different, and you're like very different groups. But then you also need to say, but we're one big group. And we need to take actions. If one group is suffering or somebody, then we're going to take an action to support that group. And that's why I loved when Eminem took a knee at the Super Bowl. You know, I mean, that was referencing Colin Kaepernick, right? Like, and we need to show solidarity outside of our group, right? So that, and I just saw the SAG Awards, and Mr. Cox, who plays Logan Roy, on Succession. Okay, I jump. Okay, so Succession's amazing. If you haven't seen it, I love that show. And they won for Best Ensemble. And, I was saying, hey, artists win, man, because art elevates and art makes us feel, so that we can, really are inspired to do changes. Art and astrology both deal with symbols and poetic expression, and they elevate. Well, he was saying, we got to stand in solidarity for anybody who's being persecuted, right? Because he's talking about Ukraine. But he was also saying, in Russia, they're not allowed to protest. And so, we have to stand in solidarity, and understand, like, how important it is. I brought up the Sagittarius with this country in America, and that it really is amazing to be able to protest. And that's why we really have to defend freedom of speech. And, these books that are being banned, and Mouse's, this book on the Holocaust. And, watch the most recent episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It even deals with the Holocaust. Lieutenant Colonel Alex Vindman is a character, and they even reference the not so perfect call that Alex Finman had to report. But it's like you can't create works of art like that. It's like unless you have, it's like that's we get to experience that because of the freedom, right? And I'm just constantly, I mean, oh my God, I'm not going to ruin the episode, but like some of the things, it's like it's just amazing. But the point is we have to really defend freedom of speech, and we need, and and I just wanted to bring out the astrology because I'm always saying, hey, step up to the plate if you've got this. If you have any of that energy that I talked about, and including Pisces, because then Pisces brings us together, that's part of your mission that you came in. And make sure that whatever you're involved in, that can be a major contribution, that step is not skipped. Okay. All right. Now, all right. What I want to do, okay, let's see. All right. So I want to do the new moon in Pisces Oracle card spread. Whew, all right. Now, just a little recap. If you missed the last show where we talked a lot about Piscean energy, it is water and it is mutable, as I said, and it is amorphous. So it's just going to like, woo, if Pisces energy is coming, it's just going to like come all over. It's going to hug you and it's going to, woo, okay, because there are no boundaries with Piscean energy. That's the universality of it. Okay. So it's incredibly compassionate and empathetic. It's incredibly, um, loving. It's incredibly creative. Okay. So, and we think of, oh yeah, I like to say Pisces is like a magician. Okay. It's like, think of Harry Potter. And it's like during Pisces season, and when you have Pisces, we all get a magic wand. We're all Harry Potter. Okay. Because it's like, it's whatever you want it to be, it is. It's glamorous. It's magical. It's veils. Okay. So I like to talk about it like that. Now, okay. Um, Okay, so we want to really now connect with that. So now for the new moon spread, I do use an oracle deck I created with artist Tom Cummins, who's an Aquarian. Okay, and for this one, I do break them down into groups because I have some elements and modalities, and we have planets. We have different groups, and I'm going to do an 11 card spread because I'm pulling some extra cards because we really need to become unified. And I want to put out as much of that energy as possible. Because if you're listening through the lens of astrology on Beacon of Light Radio, or you're watching this video on YouTube, you're part of the group. And just by giving your energy, it's active listening. And when we meditate together, when we do something together, the energy grows exponentially. And so, yeah, you're part of it. And these messages are for you. The messages are for me. I'm just part of this group. Okay. I'm not above the group. I'm part of it. And I follow these messages, you know, I take them to heart. And so it's just about saying, then we can sort of go into the world with unified energy of, okay, let's try to do that. Now, okay, I do. Okay, so this is the moon card. All right. And for the new moon spread, we reverse it. I can see clearly now. I can see clear. I better not. Yeah. I sing the songs and I'm like, they talk about royalties or whatever, but that's a beautiful song. And the fog is lifting. You'll soon have the answers you need to make an informed decision. That's what I like. Oh, information to make an informed decision. And we pulled the Libra card last week, last show we did, and that's all about rational thinking, data, logic. Okay. So yeah. So let's hope some information is going to come in. That's what we hope every new moon. So we can make informed decisions, even though Pisces is deeply intuitive. So we definitely want to be completely connected to our intuition. But of course, yeah, we want both. Yeah. Okay, now I need to just add, because I took these cards out okay, let me find my zodiac sign pile. Oops, that's not the pile. Okay, that's the planet pile. There we go. Just because I got to put them back in. Okay, here we go. Okay. And I just, another thing about the cultural imprint that I was just reminded of, because, this is something that even I have to constantly come back to because we don't realize how, I just was watching Morning Joe, and a couple people were on. Matt Lewis was on, and he was talking about he's from the Reagan era and the cultural imprint. I was like, you know what? I'm from that era, and I was deeply influenced by Reagan. And he was like, you know, um, the evil empire and communism and all of that. And then, it's like you just forget we have to constantly go back to our earliest experiences on all levels and really say, okay, why do I believe this? Why am I doing this? Is this what I want to be doing? Yes, it is. Okay. Just to have those check-ins. And then Tim Miller was on, and he was saying Republicans are unified, Democrats are not. And I thought, you know what? That's really true. And so Pisces is about unification. So let's talk about how we can, whatever group you're in, how can we make it more unified if possible, right? Okay. So I just thought, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to start, and I'm going to pick an element. All right. And so this just means now the next 2 weeks are really elevated for a new moon. But the messages are good for the whole month until the next new moon comes. But the first 2 weeks is like, oh, we really actively, okay, let's go. And then the 2 weeks after the new moon, the waning moon, we're a little more reflective. We're still connecting to them and implementing them, but in a more reflective way. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's pick an element. Okay. Woo. Oh man. Woo! Fire. Oh, I love that. Okay, fire. All right, ready to launch. That's a little Macbeth time. Okay, that's be bold and resolute. It is time to take action. And yeah, I gotta see the Denzel Washington Macbeth. Yeah, and then I just saw Daniel Craig. Apparently, he's got a stellium in Pisces. I've talked about him. Apparently, he's in a play of that. So I'm not going to get to see that. But anyway, all right. Let's use that fire. Okay, this means this is action. This means, okay, that we are supposed to be taking actions right now. Since it is a new moon in Pisces, whenever you get the fire card for a new moon spread, that means you want to take, this is the type of action you want to take connected to the astrology. So it's Piscean actions. All right. Well, we want to take universal, actions. We have to really try to unify. It can't just be like, maybe one day. It's like we have to figure out what in the world can we do to try to bring people together. We got to take creative, inspirational actions, right? We have to imagine, connect to our imagination, and help other people be more creative. And we got to take Piscean actions. That's how you connect the fire card with a new moon spread. Whatever the sign is in, those are the type of actions we're going to take. So creative, spiritual, it's about meditation as well. Okay, that's beautiful. All right. And then I'll put the cards together as well. But okay. That's very active because a new moon means the sun and moon are both in Pisces. And that's water, and that's kind of like, ooh, dreamland. It's like, look at my background. It's very Piscean. I got Neptune on my ascendant. So even though I'm Scorpio rising, I got Jupiter there too. I have a little dash of Sag and a little dash of Pisces. So think about your ascendant. If you have planets on your ascendant, then that's going to bring in those energies to your ascendant. Anyway, all right, here's the modality. Okay. Oh yeah. Jazz. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say something about jazz too in a minute. Fixed. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is turning to be a very strong spread because Pisces can be a little wishy-washy because Pisces is so blendable, so amorphous. This is like giving a backbone to Pisces. Yeah, it's like we're gonna do Piscean actions, but we're getting a backbone. That's what that means. Fixed is hold fast to your dreams. This is no time to give up. This is no time to say, we're never going to come together. No. Okay. We are capable of intense, prolonged, focused energy. All right. We're going to embrace our passion and we will triumph. This gives us strength as a group. Okay. That is, as a group, if we take Piscean action, there's no stopping us. Woo! Okay, this is very, very strong. Okay, now we're gonna pick. What am I gonna pick? Oh, I'm gonna pick a planet. I have to take a little peek at to remind myself what this is about. Yeah, what I was gonna say about there was a beautiful jazz score dispenser, and and I was thinking of jazz, and David Hare had this play with, a teleplay with Bill Nighy, and that was the character was jazz was throughout, was integral to that character. And, that is improvisation, right? Pisces is mutable, right? And so with the sun and moon in that mutable sign, we need to allow, that's another way to think, but I say bend like a willow. You can also think of jazz. We got to improvise when energy's in a mutable sign. You got to play some jazz. And when you're defying your cultural imprint, and defying expectation, the way those characters are doing, and Tanya, the two of those are real people. You gotta have to improvise a little bit, yeah, because people are going to throw you curveballs. You got to be able to do that. Okay, let's get a planet. Mars. This is so strong. Wow. For double Pisces energy, this is saying, yeah, Mars. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. This is time. This is fire and Mars. That really goes together. This is a very strong spread. This is like, we got to start really doing things. Yeah, we have to really actively, and also take care of your health, because Pisces is also, Pisces connected to the lymphatic system. We got to work a little bit harder to detox. If you have Pisces in your chart, definitely walk, do yoga, because you actually have to do physical exercise to stimulate the lymphatic system. I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, so you want to, you can get like waterlogged with that according to astrology. So definitely get exercise, get physical with this energy. But it's also, we want to be taking lots of, even going to a yoga, doing yoga is a Piscean activity, right? Swimming, all kinds of water activities. Um, Fishing, that's funny. Doing all kinds of water activities is also. So it's like, but this is extremely active. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you, it's a very polarizing, intense time right now. So I think this is like making sure we do things, and that we don't just, because Pisces, we can sit and dream. It's like a veil. Everything is so glamorous and beautiful. We just kind of like, when we get lost in our dreams, it's like make our dreams a reality, right? Actively work. Which is, oh yeah, okay. Oh, that's so funny. I just have to say, I just kind of glanced, and I did get the Pisces card, but we're going to select a card. Okay, here we go. We're going to select a zodiac sign. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. We want to embrace these energies. Oh, Cancer. Very sensitive. Okay, now we have very sensitive energy coming in. Cancer is water, just like Pisces. And water is about feeling. So when we have this, says definitely feel. Okay, this is very personal, sensitive energy with Cancer, and it's the most personal sign. It's, we think of the crab, and so when Cancers aren't in balance, then they become, we say crabby, right? We say moody. So it's like with Cancer, it also means nurture. I like to put the word nurture. So let's make sure we are nurturing ourselves and nurturing others. So now this is in complete alignment with the watery, sensitive Pisces. Feel, be sensitive, and don't neglect yourself. When you get Cancer card and inspirational reading, it's don't neglect yourself. How are you connecting with the idea of nurturing right now? Now, it's a new modality. It's cardinal energy. So there's individual initiative, which is very strong. So that is, and there's Cancer energy in the US chart, as I've said as well. So, okay. Now, also, that means Cancer, step up to the plate. Your energy is elevated right now. All right. We need you. Yeah, just as we need the Pisces. The energy that is in the astrology, I say we need you right now. And then the energy that we pull from the oracle cards, we need you. So that's how that works. So it's like, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Now, all right, we are going to pull. Okay, now we pull a card for a house, because there are 12 astrological houses, and each house has, it represents an area of experience. So then I say, well, what's an area of experience that we can, really connect to right now that's going to help us, right? Because we're trying to, Yeah, unify and reach our highest levels of consciousness. Yeah, no biggie. And transcendence, and, be our most thoughtful selves, our most thoughtful, loving, creative selves. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what is the house? Oh my gosh, we got Pisces house. We got 12th house. You know what? 12th house was elevated in the last reading I did for the group. All right, so that does mean, hey, make sure, are you doing your meditation? Are you spending time in nature, doing some, hey, sail, look, that's sailing. Let's do some water activities. It's like this is giving you permission to have, and when you combine Cancer and the 12th house, now that's Pisces house, but this is a water house. These complement each other. So yes, we are going to be actively going forward, and woo, there's a lot of action and energy in this spread, but we are having permission to make sure that within your busy day, even if it's 11 minutes or 38 minutes a day, or, 2 to 3 times a week, make sure that you are giving yourself some exhale time where you can reflect and have, this is private time. Okay, so we want to embrace, it's like, allow, sometimes I journal, this is like a journaling house. We're like, oh, what are you really thinking? What do you, it's just between you and your journal, it's some private time. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, now, because so much is going on, it's really important. I'm going to be pulling, we're going to go up to 11 cards today, because we really need a really comprehensive, I think, special spread, just to bring everything we can do to come together right now. I think we got to do. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what is another element that's really going to be beneficial to us right now? Okay. Here we go. Earth. Oh my gosh. All right. Now that does, we had a lot of energy in Capricorn, and energy shifting this week. Venus and Mars are both going to go into Aquarius. What we have, March 6th, Venus and Mars are going to enter into Aquarius. Yeah, they both enter into Aquarius on the same day. Yeah. So we've got a lot of Pisces energy, Aquarius, Pisces. But we still have some Capricorn. But this Earth is saying, let's not forget, Earth is giving permission to slow down. One, it's the slowest energy of the zodiac, and it's really connect. See, Pisces is woo, ethereal. It's up here. It's ooh, and Earth is like real. It's like the tangible world. It's like a tree. I can touch it. It's real. Okay. And so Pisces, a dream is real, right? But Earth is, can I touch it? If I can't, it's not real. So we're supposed to be connecting. And this is also for your physical health. Take care of your body. You have permission, take a bubble bath, do an abhyanga, do whatever. That's something I do. Do whatever you want. You have permission to indulge your senses and embrace earthly pleasures, right? It's of the earthly realm. Connect to the natural world. And Earth is very manifesting. So that also helps to, we can get burned out. When we get fire in Mars, we can almost we go forward so quickly, we burn up. Well, the Earth is like, slow down enough and let's make it so we have just enough energy to go forward. But then Earth is like, let's be a little practical, take care of ourselves. And then the Cancer is also nurture ourselves and loving. This is a very comprehensive, beautiful spread. This is, oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're going to pick another modality. Okay, here we go. All right. Cardinal. All right. Now that complements Cancer. All right. And so that means Cardinal. This is individual initiative. We're definitely moving. We're definitely being able to take positive actions. And if you have ideas, it's also, let's share them, because this is, oh yeah, I was just thinking of, yeah, that's right. You're going to make it after all. Yeah, that's so funny. I think I referenced Mo Rocco recently. Sonny Curtis interviewed Sonny Curtis on CBS Sunday Morning, and that's the writer of that wonderful song. This is a Mary Tyler Moore song. So it's like, embrace the individual initiative. It's really, really important. So it's going to be really a beautiful combination of energies. All right, now we are going to pick another planet. Okay, what is another planet that we can really help to inspire us? Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, Neptune. Okay, you know what? We got this, and we got this reversed. Okay, so this is know your boundaries. This is so Neptunian and so Piscean. So Pisces is connected to Neptune as well as Jupiter. And remember, Jupiter is in Pisces. So that's really elevating that energy. And it's a lot of Pisces energy. So, Neptune is very intuitive and creative, but because of the boundary issue, we're going to move forward, but we're going to make sure that we are respecting boundaries, right? And so you want to do a check-in with that and make sure that people are respecting your boundaries. But Neptune is incredibly unifying, visionary, sensitizing energy. So we definitely want to be doing what we can to further embrace that energy. Okay. Oh, that's Pisces. All right. Here we go. Now, all right. So now we're going to pick another zodiac sign. Okay. And I'm looking over to see. Okay, here's another zodiac sign. Okay. Okay. Oh, Aquarius. Okay. All right. So we do really need the Aquarius right now. I talked about this issues of freedom. I started the whole show with this. Aquarius, remember that we're part of a lot of different groups, and your biggest gift is by sharing what makes you unique, right? Go ahead, be eccentric. You stand out, right? And you don't lose your originality. You retain your originality, but you also contribute to the larger group. So this isn't a project. And so in a business, and when we do the cycle where one leads to the next, leads to the next. And Aquarius is the 11th sign. Okay. And we're doing 11 cards in this spread. So, as the 11th step in any kind of project, right? Because it comes right after Capricorn, which is like you can get something very big, maybe a little traditional, a very powerful, you think of like Amazon, a very powerful company. And and then the 11th step is to say the Aquarius will make sure it retains its originality, because sometimes when a business gets so big, it loses that. And so that's your job is to make sure that if you're in a relationship, it doesn't become stale. You constantly, and that you allow each other to be you. You don't try to say, no, you need to wear a tie, or no, you need to. Aquarius is saying, I'm going to wear what makes me feel me. Okay. And so that is energy that we're going to elevate right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. And it's elevated astrologically as well. Okay. So now we are going to get another area of experience, Okay. All right. Okay. Another area of experience to elevate. Okay. Oh man. The 10th house. Okay, so we're elevating the 10th house. Now, this is Capricorn's house. This is the house that rules what we can find out about you without really knowing you. So it's like, what is your career, right? Not how you make money. Like I used to babysit, but I was a playwright. Right. And so like playwriting is the 10th house. It's your career. But I had to babysit to make money. Right. And then, astrology I feel like that's my career. I have a mission for that as well. So it's your public romantic relationship. It's your marriage, but it doesn't have to be. It's if everybody knows, oh yeah, they're together. Okay, that's a 10th house relationship. These are your parents or mentors. All right. So, this is elevated, right? So we want to check in with all of these areas, right? And that's what that means. If this is elevated, and give special attention, it may mean, use Piscean energy to improve these areas. All right. So for your career, make sure that you're really dreaming and saying, well, what is your ideal? Sometimes we just forget. Just reconnect with what's your ideal, involve creativity to improve these situations, and involve sensitivity, right? Put yourself in someone else's shoes. Pisces is empathy. Dalai Lama talks about compassion, right? And that's wonderful. But Pisces is empathy. I feel. exactly what you're feeling. And so for a new moon in Pisces spread, you want to apply everything I say about Pisces to improve the 10th house and to improve the 12th house. That's how we're doing the spread, and that's how we incorporate these energies. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I shuffle the remaining cards, and we're going to pick an 11th card, okay, from the remaining. Okay. So then we're going to have a beautiful 11 card spread, and then I'll put it up on my social media. And if you like these cards and you want to get them, you can go to you can go to my websites, ariellesastrology.com. You can go to Amazon. You can go to my social media and get them, my social media platforms. And we also have a planner that I have, the 2022 Astrological Planner. I got it right here. And it's a way to really make your astrology personal to you. It's 2022 Astro Planner and Activity Book. So I reference it a lot, and I have oracle card spreads in it and astrology exercises. And so it's a way to, follow along with your energy, because astrology is symbolic, and you want to say, well, how are you connecting to it? And how does it help you to connect specifically to your cultural socioeconomic imprint, right? So then you can say, yeah, I'm going to keep this one, maybe that one. I don't know. It's that kind of energy. Okay. So let's get an 11th card for our new moon and our visionary. It is visionary. Yeah. Okay. And Pisces is so fantastic. I mentioned Daniel Craig, the stellium, and Rachel Weisz. I talked about that. They both have stelliums and Pisces. And I often don't recognize them. I'm like, wait. It's like, oh yeah, they just become different people. That's Pisces. They're shapeshifters. They make the best actress, Sidney Poitier. They're glamorous, and they just transform before your eyes. Okay, the 11th card. Oh man. Okay, let's get this. Aries. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That just begins the whole Western zodiac, folks. Woo. All right. Aries is a fire card. It is a cardinal card. Oh my God. Look at that. And it's Mars. Look at this. And Mars even rules, connected to Aries. Woo. All right. That just put a lot of gas in the car. Oh my God. Okay. So that really means, we definitely have to be actively taking Piscean actions. Okay. So, not only you be creative, but inspire other people to do, because creativity heals. We heal through trauma and all kinds of things. And boy, I just saw this Ukrainian musician. Oh, I can't remember the name. I just saw it on Chris Jansen was just interviewing him, but he was going around Ukraine and spreading his art and singing. It's like, art elevates, it heals. We need to actively do these Piscean activities, meditate, encourage other people to meditate. So it's not just about you doing it. It's about spreading that. Hey, that also means, guess what, Aries, you gotta step up to the plate right now. We need you. Okay. Because Aries gets things going, right? Because too much Pisces, and we're like, oh, well, we could do this and we could do that. And Aries is like, pick something and let's go. It's like, so, it's, and this was even resurrected during the Mercury retrograde. I wonder if I may not be. I just saw Jessica Chastain. She won. I've got to see the Tammy Faye. She just did that. But I even think I've looked up her chart, and she has Aries, and that's very, it's very fiery. And when you see an Aries speak, it's just, it's, Rachel Maddow. Okay. It's like, I think even Morning Joe. I don't know. I'm not going to, or maybe I may not be remembering all my Aries. But anyway, to give you an example, I bring those people up so then you can watch them and say, oh, okay. You can kind of start to feel people who resonate to certain energy. I'm a little blown away by this. This is very powerful. Okay, I'm gonna, take a picture of this, put this on my social media platforms. I'll write a little bit about it. But basically, we want to be embracing these energies, right? Let's create as a group these beautiful unified intentions, okay? Because thoughts are things, they're very powerful. And, we have got, all the elements, and if we do this and then we're going to help to unify our group and then the bigger groups as well. And you know what? Because then I'm going to want to pick a couple more cards for which I always do this. So let me just I'm going to take a quick picture of this to put up. And then what I'm going to do is pick a couple more cards I always say for our president and vice president and, of how we can heal. And then, just pick a card for what is going on right now all over the world with, Ukraine and Russia and everything, to say, what can we do to just bring extra healing? Because I think we need some extra healing right now. All right. So, okay, I'm going to shuffle a little bit. So let me see anything else. Oh, yeah. You know what I also love when I talked about what Matt Lewis was talking about, the cultural imprint of Reagan. And I was watching Condoleezza Rice. She was interviewed by Fareed Zakaria. And I'll tell you, she's just so diplomatic and so articulate. And that's something that's like, where is that gone? But that's part of a different cultural imprint. And so this we're entering into, like, there's a different imprint coming up. But, she even said that President Biden, he's playing a difficult hand quite well or really well. So that's maybe a paraphrase. But, she's saying he's playing a difficult hand really well. It's like, and that's what it's like, we need people like Condoleezza Rice to, like, just to say something like that. Like, where is that gone? Where we can't be complimenting people who have different ideologies, right? When somebody's doing a good job, we got to be able to say, oh yeah, you're doing a good job. You handled that well, even though we're not on the same page politically. It was just so refreshing. It was so refreshing to hear that interview and to hear her speak. Because it was like, yeah, where'd that kind of dialogue go? Let's get that back. Okay. Now, all right. So we're gonna pick two cards just to say, okay, what can we do as a group? Because even if you didn't vote for Biden and Harris, I mean, I did, but even if you didn't, I always say, give beautiful energy to the people in charge, because they're in charge of, they're going to take actions that will raise the consciousness of the planet or lower it. Okay. Because what they do really matters. So let's give them our support and let's help them, right, to do their best job. So if we embrace this energy, we're going to be helping them to do their best job. Okay. All right. Oh, man. Woo! Okay. Well, how can we help? Fixed in Jupiter. Oh my gosh. All right. Fixed means, look, okay, well, Jupiter, let's start with Jupiter. That's optimism. That's faith. That's connected to the Sag and Pisces. So this elevates Pisces too. We got Jupiter and Pisces right now. Okay. It's a new moon spread in Pisces. Jupiter is hope. It's optimism and it's message. We have to believe that we can do something. This is what Jupiter says, right? If I say, what can we do? Some of you are going to be like, I can't do anything. What can I do? No, we can do something, right? So you got to believe that you can do something, that you can take actions. This whole spread was confirming that let's take Piscean actions to imagine, to create, to unify. All right. And all those ways that we talked about. And we have to believe, we have to be hopeful. And then Jupiter also is saying we have to have tolerance for people who have different beliefs. And we have to work to blend when we cannot blend. I talk about do the right thing. Yeah, we cannot always blend, but then we can coexist. We can always coexist. Okay. So you try to blend. When you can't, then you coexist. Okay. And there's the tolerance. All right. I know now I'm hearing the Fight the Power song, which was an anthem that I still can't believe that. It was like Spike Lee said, yeah, can you create an anthem? Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. Public, and then they did Public Enemy, but anyway, okay. So, but it's you can do something, but yeah, listen to Fight the Power. I quoted from that a couple of shows ago. We can do something, all right? We're not helpless. Have hope. And fixity, Whoa, we've had that. We are capable of intense, prolonged, focused energy. We must become passionate about helping people in power do their best, right? So that's active that we have to be active participants. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. That is really, really strong. It's almost like it brings back to, this is like, what is your weapon, right? Like Malcolm X, what is your gift? What is your weapon? And use it to actively support the people in charge in a way that things can get better. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then I'm going to pick another card for something, but I've got all these little post-it notes around. I'm just going to say, let me see, was there anything that I wanted to say that I didn't get to put in? Because I'm always, I watch a lot of different stuff. I have eclectic taste, but I then try to bring in things that resonate to the astrology that's going on or to the oracle spreads. It's just another way for you to have a connection to astrology, to make it real, because it can be so esoteric. And it's like, how do I make it personal to you and real, right? Um, Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm going to next time, because we don't have time this time to really go over the evolution, how the 12 zodiac signs are really connected and how we do our part. I'm going to go into more details of that next time. But also, something about freedom to think about, that we can't always assume we know what's best for others. And that's a big deal of what's going on right now. When books are being banned, it's like, oh no, that you can't read that book. What will happen if that person reads that book? And Bill Maher said perfectly, we often give an anchor. I'm paraphrasing. He did say give an anchor, but we often give an anchor to people we're trying to help. And that really resonated with me. And so it's like, we have to really make sure, like, are we helping or are we giving an anchor? Are we doing something, that really empowers them? Or are we just trying to protect our own freedom? Or are we trying to give them freedom as well? Right. And we have to give them freedom through the Aquarian, because we have Age of Aquarius, we have Saturn in Aquarius. That is the path of being, you need to allow people to be their original selves, right? And so ask yourself that question as you're in these situations. And let's remind people, with the banning of the books and all this stuff going on, are we giving somebody an anchor? What's happening? Or are we really, helping them? So yeah, I love that. Okay. And then let me just say, oh yeah, there's the issues of freedom. I also recently I started, all the Joe Rogan controversy, and I'd only ever saw him interview Robert Downey Jr., which was a great interview. And then all that stuff happened, and I learned so much with Trevor Noah interviewed India Ari, and it was all about that. But so I saw another interview Joe Rogan did with Elon Musk, and he was even talking about, because the issue of freedom of AI, and is saying, well, all the idea of regulation and freedom of, like, with seatbelts, we can often just kind of take our time. And then he was saying AI is going to progress so quickly, that maybe we need more regulation. And it's just the idea of freedom over and over again, of how much regulation, of when to come in, what can we do, and how all the different platforms of when can we wait. And it just reminded me of how complicated and nuanced that whole issue is. And since it's really relevant right now, I wanted to bring in all the things and all the astrology connected and everything, just to say, okay, these are these issues and the permutations of these issues going on. But I think one of the best, um, you know, the things I love, the consistently and consciously, right? Of that, whatever we do, it's like, let's try to be consistent with it. Let's try to do it consciously. And we're only going to really judge others if they're doing something bad in a consistent or conscious way, right? So, and that came out of that interview, that Trevor Noah did with India Ari. And I keep coming back to that. So with these ideas of freedom and what it is to be woke and intolerance, there's so much intolerance going on right now. What's the metric we can use? And I think that's a good metric. What are people doing consistently and consciously, right? Okay. And what have we done to um make them aware to say, well, do you realize you're doing this? What do you think about that? And they're like, oh yeah, I know I'm doing that and I want to do it. All right, let's pick a card. Let's just pick a card full of love to say, if we all embrace this, we can help give beautiful energy and help heal this horrific Ukrainian Russian situation. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Amen. Cancer energy. We got to give Cancer energy. This requires extensive nurturing, all right, and sensitivity, but it requires action. All right, that really means we really need to connect to our most nurturing parts and really figure out how we can nurture all the division, right? Let's try to take active nurturing because there's just incredible polarity, right? And to extend as much it's feeling, put ourselves in the shoes of people who are suffering. That's water, that's Cancer, right? You put yourself in those shoes and you really connect with that. Okay. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely beautiful, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay, and we're out of time. Oh, I was gonna talk about, okay, you know what, next week. Okay, next week I'm gonna do the whole 12-week cycle. I want to talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton, and there's not time to talk about that. And yeah, we want to celebrate Ketanji Brown, and oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about, oh, this W. Kamau Bell has an amazing miniseries I want to talk about that deals with a Piscean element. But okay, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. So that's what's coming up on Through the Lens of Astrology. Until next time, enjoy and